Welcome in to Varsity Vibe. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm really excited that you always choose to come here and listen to these conversations that we share with you, with coaches and athletes around the state of Arkansas. I love telling their stories. I love to get to know them on and off the field or in the court. And so for you to join us is always a pleasure, and really excited about the conversation that we are going to share with you today. At the beginning of 2026, Fayetteville Volleyball coach Jessica Phelan announced that she was retiring from coaching and opening up a vacancy that she had for over 2 decades. About a month ago, Fayetteville announcing that they were going to promote assistant coach Kele Luigs. Now, Kele was an assistant for Jessica Phelan for 9 seasons. She knows this program and these girls like the back of her hand. And now it's her opportunity to put her own stamp on the volleyball program that has meant so much to her right down the street, where she also played her collegiate ball at the University of Arkansas. We talked about sports, we talked about life and coaching as a mom, and of course, her vision for what the next chapter of Fayetteville Volleyball will look like. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Fayetteville Volleyball head coach Kele Luigs.
First and foremost, congratulations on being promoted into that head job. And so let's start when the job was open. And I'm sure you kind of had an idea that Jessica was ready to pass the reins on. What was kind of the first thing that you thought of when this opportunity opened?
It was kind of a process to like get to this point. It's kind of bittersweet because it's like taking it all in at one time. Like Jess is my person. Like she taught me how to be a mom and navigate this world. So that's that was a big thing for me. So it's like taking in that here's Jess and she's doing what she needs to do for her life and she's moving on, but like I'm losing her in a way. So I had to process that first.
Sure.
And then kind of after that, then it's like immediately to the girls in the program. Eventually my personal girls, like my girls will be in it, but these girls currently are my girls. And so it was like, there was no way I could let the program go to anybody else.
Sure.
Because they're mine. Yeah, like it is.
Yeah. And you've also been around the program for so long as well. Joining Jess for so long that it felt almost like a natural passing of the torch.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. I mean, she laid a great foundation for us. It just made the most sense. Like this is home for me. So yeah, that's good.
When you look at though what you want to do with the program, I mean, it's early, it's only been a few months, but I'm sure that you kind of have an idea of what you want to take from what I learned from her, but also now having an opportunity to put your own spin.
I think we have to, as a team, figure out what exactly that spin is. The core of it still there is the girls. Like I said, she laid a great foundation. So now we just get to build, like tradition never graduates is our thing. It's the same thing with, it doesn't retire.
Yeah.
Like tradition's there. We're going to build upon that. But then kind of the spring and summer, we're going to figure out like what that is for us. And I feel like we're at the point where the girls kind of not necessarily get a say really, but like, we're going to figure that out as a family and just kind of put our own spin on what Jess has already established.
Yeah. How would you define the group that you're coming back? Because as you mentioned, you never retire, you never graduate. Tradition is always here.
Right.
And you guys have laid such a great foundation with that. So what does this incoming group look like?
Yeah. So this incoming group, they're bought in, and I can say that really about it kind of goes year from year. I think we always have seniors that have kind of come up through the program, and then that senior season, it just kind of keeps trickling down, like they're bond to the program. They know what they need to do to be successful. And sometimes that's winning a state championship. Sometimes it's a conference championship, but more than anything, they're just pretty successful at life. Show up in the classroom, show up in the community. And we're still there. We're kind of a bigger senior group, but really like the chunk of it is still a fairly young group. So they're fun, they're energetic, they love volleyball, they love each other. So I'm really excited to see where this goes with them.
What do you think is the biggest thing you took away from all the years of coaching under Jess?
The biggest thing with Jess, I think it's just like you feed into those girls. And she did such a great job of that. Like she ran a great program, but at the end of the day, it all trickled back to the girls. And making sure that, we want to win a state championship, but when they leave Fayetteville Volleyball, they want to be able to look back and be like, that was some of the best time, in my high school career of my life. Like we made memories. Maybe we capped it off with a championship. Maybe we didn't. but like just kind of wrapping up a nice little high school bubble of memories.
Let's take it back to when you started playing. When
Okay.
did you start playing volleyball?
I started in 7th grade.
Okay.
It wasn't really a thing
Mm-hmm.
to do club necessarily for me. And then being from small town South Texas, there were no clubs in my town. So I had to go to San Antonio. 7th grade was my first school season, and in districts there. So in district, there was a family that had me come try out for a club team. And so that's kind of where it all took off. So when I would try, like, go to San Antonio and play.
Were you playing other sports? Were you doing other things?
Softball,
Okay.
basketball.
Okay. And so what was it maybe like with volleyball? Oh, I want to try this out. What piqued your
So my
interest there?
mom played volleyball.
Yeah.
That was kind of her sport. So I think I just naturally kind of went towards volleyball.
Okay.
And then I actually played basketball and softball for quite a bit. Like, it wasn't an immediate, like, well, I'm quitting everything for, I pitched in softball and loved it.
Yeah.
So it was,
You're tall. You've got that big stride.
So, and that was probably the hardest sport to give up.
Yeah.
But then my club coach, I think, is what really just like solidified it for me. Really cool side note, my daughter plays club. And so my club coach is now Austin Juniors. And we kind of circled it back up with my daughter being in club. We run into each other again. So it's like she's still in my volleyball journey, which has been really cool. So
That is really, yeah. And you step into a sport and it really just changes the trajectory of your whole entire life.
for sure.
And so when you realize that, man, I could do this collegiately. I mean, when did that change?
That was probably, so recruiting rules were obviously different there. I would say freshman, sophomore in high school was, when it really kind of hit home. That's kind of when I ended up quitting softball. I was starting to have some like shoulder and elbow stuff from doing both.
Yeah.
So that's when it really got serious. My club coach brought me for my first visit to Arkansas. So yeah, it's wild when it kind of clicks that I went 12 hours from home, just really does change on so many things.
What was it about Arkansas during the recruiting process that grabbed your attention?
So Holly Graham Watts was one of the assistant coaches at the time. And she actually played against my mom in high school. So she's from a small town in Texas also.
Okay.
I think that's what got me here initially, because being from South Texas, like Dallas was north. You didn't go really past Dallas. And I was like, Arkansas, I just don't know if that's. And so because of Holly, I took a visit, and then I just kind of fell in love with the place. It was far enough for me to go and grow up. Not that it was an easy transition, but I could get home in a day. My parents could get to me. It's an easy flight. So I think that's what initially brought me up here.
In your playing career at Arkansas, and being able to play in the SEC on the collegiate level, that had to have been a lot of fun too.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. What was maybe the biggest thing you learned about yourself as a player? Be that we'll think.
Man, as a player, I know it just sounds so like everybody says it, but really you can do hard things. Like, you can just get through being away from home. You grow up so much. I'd be lying if I didn't say I tried multiple times on freshman year to be like, I'm ready to come back. And my mom was like, stick it out, like, get through this freshman year. And then, I had really great seasons. Unfortunately, my senior season, I had some foot issues. And it really was like, for me, going from, I started that senior season also, but then like halfway through, like learning a new role, like maybe starting, maybe not playing if I couldn't go on that game. So, it just kind of like taught me life lessons versus just, well, here I am as an athlete, but that day is going to end. Yeah. So then what happens, and how do you take it into real life?
How is student athlete life different than it is right now?
Oh,
I'm sure by a lot.
I'm sure a lot.
Yeah.
We were extremely fortunate regardless of how you look at it. I was fortunate enough that it was a full ride for me. So my academics and stuff were taken care of. Now I would say there's a lot that the athletes get now that maybe we didn't get back then. Would I change it?
Yeah.
No, not really. But it was a grind, and not taking, it's a grind now too, but, I would just say social media and all the things have changed it in a way. Yeah.
That senior year where you said you were trying to learn how to adjust to a new role, did coaching start to pique your interest maybe during that time, or when the coaching?
Funny enough, I vividly remember my best friend and I, it was probably sixth grade, seventh grade, that you know how there's like little yearbook blurbs, you should, and it was like, where are you going to be in 20 years, 10 years? And mine was always coaching. I mean, I always loved, at that point, I didn't know what sport it would be, but I've loved coaching. And then again, with April, my club coach, I think that just really solidified, like, that's what I wanted to do. And then especially in college, I really loved the scouting part of the game and just learning that part. And so I thought for a little bit, maybe that was the route I wanted to go. It wasn't, obviously. I kind of fell in love with high school ball, and I just love this age group.
Yeah. Being down the street from Fayetteville when you were in school, I'm sure Jess was around a lot.
Yeah.
When did you meet Jess for the first time?
So at that time, my freshman year was 2003. And Coach Poole was our head coach. We were really close with our alumni. We always had alumni matches. Like, they were always in the gym. Jess was coming pregnant to play against us. So it was early on that we all met. And we ended up working at camp for her at one point at the old gym here. So gosh, it would have been 03, 04 that we initially just met. And we always heard of Jess, like, Jessie. And you're like, we're like, who is Jessie? And it all clicked who Jessie is. Like,
yeah. And then, of course, golly, it's crazy to think about now how many years later and the journey the two of you had been. And so when you get into your coaching right after you graduate, where did that start and where did those connections?
So right after we graduated, my husband was actually drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. So we moved to Cincinnati for a little bit. So I didn't get in right away. We moved back and I went to Harper.
Okay.
So I was there with Sandy Jones as the head coach, and I was there for 5 years. Excellent school, taught at Hellstern, loved it, loved the kids. We ended up having our second child. We had two while we were there. After the second one was when I was like, I really think we need to get out. We had no family, no help here. And so I got out for a year. I just went and taught. And then that's when Jess called and was like, here's the deal. We have a spot open. And I was like, I want to coach, but I have to take, like, this is priority right now.
Right.
And she was like, listen, I've been there. We can make it work. We can figure this out. And so then that next year I came here, and that's been it.
I really want to dive into that a little bit, because how special is it to have someone like Jess from a standpoint, right? She did it with her three, and now you're doing it with your three. I mean, that is stuff away from the court all in itself that she was able to really kind of help with.
Yeah, she, you kind of feel guilty sometimes. I mean, it kind of makes me emotional sometimes, but because you do miss so many things with your own children. But it's kind of like you can do both and you can be good at both. Like, maybe sometimes I miss on this end and this end a little bit, but like, you're not really missing. Like, you can still show up and be there for both of them. And she just kind of helped navigate that, where like you can take the guilt out. You may miss this T-ball game, but like, you're going to catch up on this in the springtime.
Yeah.
So just kind of helping balance that. And then our kids they've been on buses, they've gone in camps. I was very pregnant with Knox and Kinsey. I will never forget being in Branson for a camp with Jess, and just, the memories you make there, and the girls love on your kids, and it's just one big extended family.
Yeah. You've watched her three grow up through the program, and yours is doing that.
Oh my gosh.
How excited are you to just continue to look forward to having your kids be around this program?
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Jess, I will never forget when Kenna got on the bus after they won state, when it was finally her time. So it was the first championship with Jess and Kenna. And Kenna was just like to Jessica, like, this is what it's like. That's what they'd been waiting for. And who knows, we may not get to that point with Kinsey and then Claire. I don't know. I can't say that, but to have those memories, trying to get to those moments even, and get, like, it's kind of like you make up for lost time. Like, I miss all this time when you were little, but I'm about to be with you until you graduate and leave high school. I mean, that's something.
Yeah. To watch your daughter go through the volleyball track right now, how fun is that for you? Do you feel like you're reliving some old memories all the time?
Absolutely. Yeah, all the time. It's been really fun. Yeah. She's a talented little player. We'll see where it takes her down the road. But she's loving it, and she's figuring out who she is. Like, that's the most exciting part. Watching her. I guess she started at 10, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe 10 years old. And just watching the change there. My second one has now started. They change so much, but they learn so much about themselves. And, I get to watch her at Woodland, and they came and played Grammy Woodland here, and just watching her be on the inline at FHS with her name announced, like, that's something really cool. You know, like it's been their program too from little on, and then they've taken a back seat at times to this, so it's just as much theirs as it is mine.
How do you balance being a mom versus being a former player / coach with her?
Yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah.
So I coached her in club.
Yeah.
For 2 years, I guess.
Yeah.
The first year was a little like we're gonna figure this out. Because we're very different even at this point. So it's been a process.
Yeah.
But it's been really eye-opening for me too, as a mom, but as a coach of other kids too, because she doesn't compete the same way I compete. But she still competes. And so by me learning that about her, it's also opened my eyes to all my players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not going to compete the same way, but we can all compete for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been helping her, but it's helped me in turn, just like, as a coach, period.
Yeah. How do you have seen, since being around the area, being at Harbor, being here for an extended period of time, how have you seen the game just grow in the 6A West in general?
So much. Yeah. We actually had this talk the other day with the team. It's so competitive. I think, you can, the coaching around here is awesome. Ozark, Storm, Club Med, a whole bunch of clubs, like, that's taken off. So it's just provided so many opportunities for these kids to keep playing. And in turn, it's showing up in high school. And it's very competitive. We went I think my freshman year of college, we went to the All-State game because we were getting 2 in-state recruits. They were still serving underhand in the All-State game. I mean, that doesn't happen anymore. Like, it has grown leaps and bounds, and it is so exciting. I would much rather have, let's go fight like every night for something. And so it's really exciting to see.
I was having this conversation with some people at the AAA around state about just the growth again now, and it's now around the state, and how programs are starting to invest in volleyball. And one of the smaller programs, she was joking at how when she started this 15 years ago, they got basketballs and volleyballs confused. She was like, this is a basketball, this is not a volleyball, I need a volleyball. You know what I mean? And now it's getting national attention. Just as a player and a coach of the game that you love, how fun is it on a national scale just to see all around how volleyball and the popularity has grown?
So fun. I mean, just from my personal kids, like, the fact that they get to see this, and it's the norm now to see volleyball on TV. Like, that's just such an amazing thing for all the little girls. I mean, you could see basketball, right? And so they'd get to look up to basketball athletes, but now it's volleyball that people are starting to know volleyball names, and they want to go to volleyball games, and the professional league is taking off. And it not only is it exciting for our kids to look up to, but it's providing so many opportunities for kids after high school, after college, and they just we have some of our own FHS athletes that are continuing to play, and that's so amazing.
Talking about the kids who have come through here, a lot of girls have gone on to play D1 volleyball. But things are kind of different right now and unique with the school and the Learns Act and how that's changed things. How does that change roster management a little bit for the schools?
So for us right now, it hasn't really changed a whole lot. We still like to provide a lot of opportunity for kids to be a part of our program. And so we still, I mean, not get too technical, but we have a sophomore period. A lot of schools around here have kind of gone away from sophomore teams, but for us, it's an opportunity to give these kids, 1, to just be involved in the school, 2, but be involved in a game that they love still. So now getting matches for them sometimes can be difficult, but usually teams, even if they don't have a sophomore team, like, they will play us. And we try to get them at least 10 matches a year, but that's could that end up changing down the road? Maybe a little bit, but for us, roster wise, we still are.
And I feels like that's plays a huge role in development. As then they get to you, they've been in your system and they've been able to play. And not just, I'm not saying that being on the bench, but there's something about playing the game that also from a development standpoint.
Getting touches.
I'm curious when you take the court. I know this is a long way out, but thinking about what taking the court as the head coach at Fayetteville is going to sound like the first time, and like all the first you're about to experience as a head coach, make you nervous, make you excited. How do you feel?
I can process it with, it'll be our thing at that point. Definitely nervous. I mean, even though I've done it a bunch of times, like, nervous from the standpoint of, I mean, like it or not, those are big shoes to fill as Jessica. And they won't be filled the exact same way, and that's fine. Like, she doesn't expect it to be that way. But it's still Jess, and she's done such a great thing. But just like the environment in general, like, I mean, it's both exciting. I've thought about it before, like that first time out there, but it's going to be a first for the girls too. It's not just my first, like it's their first without Jess there. And not even Jess as the head coach, but Jess is like just my person beside me.
Yeah.
But I'm also really excited about it.
Sure.
Like we want to fill the arena. Like, we want to get people back in there, and like the kids deserve it and the girls deserve it. Like, it's something that I'm really looking forward to.
A great conversation I had there with Kele, and of course, passing the torch and everything that holds with what Fayetteville Volleyball has been able to build and accomplish over Jessica Phelan's tenure is going to be a fun transition, and I'm excited to see what she does with the program. If you have missed any of the conversations that we have had with coaches and athletes over the last couple weeks and couple months, I encourage you to go listen to them. These are great people on and off the field of play. And I really enjoy having these conversations and sharing them with you. So make sure to go check those out wherever you get your podcasts, or of course on our YouTube channel. Also want to let you know, make sure you're following us on social media, guys. It is baseball, softball, soccer season. We have so much content over there for you to check out. So make sure you're following us on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, as well as signed up for our newsletter at varsityvibearkansas.com. That is coming to your inbox twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. Don't want you to miss anything that is happening around the state in high school athletics. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Alyssa Orange, and I will see you next time.